Hello, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this next episode in this YouTube channel, hiiemoves. And thank you for subscribing and liking the videos, and leave us some comments also and tell us how the videos are impacting your life and health habits. I am so glad to welcome today a guest that we have had on this channel before, Roberto Melani, who is a master trainer, a health and movement specialist coach, and an expert in barefoot movement. So, and actually, our topic for today's episode is feet.
Yes.
Roberto told us in the earlier interview. I'm going to put the link to that interview in the information section below. Also, he told us that he is obsessed with feet. So welcome, Roberto. You can tell us anything you want to introduce yourself further, and then tell us about your obsession with feet, how it got started, and what does it mean for you?
Yeah, well, thank you. It is a pleasure to be back. Thank you for having me once again. And hello to everybody from the United States, from California. That's where I live. But yes, I am obsessed with feet, but not in a way that most people would think. As you said, I've been working in the health and fitness space for 35 years, so for quite a long time. And basically, my passion for the feet and balance, actually, two together, basically, started 11 years ago. 11 years ago, so we're looking at 2013, I was the director of a facility here in the Bay Area. And we had a presenter that came to our facility to teach a workshop on feet, right? And this person was Dr. Emily Splickle. She is the founder of the Evidence-Based Fitness Academy Global, which is basically called EBFA, which is an organization that focuses on education and training at a global level when it comes to barefoot training. So Dr. Emily Splickle is a functional podiatrist, and she has become a great friend and one of my most revered mentor in my career. So I learned pretty much everything I know about the feet from her. So I just want to give her this, shout out, because she's incredible. So basically what happened, this, this workshop that I attended, obviously, sparked interest in the feet, because it was something that I have never thought of. I mean, of course, my feet, yes, I put shoes on, we're done. That's it. Maybe I get a pedicure one day, that's it. But that was all. I never thought of fitness in regards to my feet. So, and then also how that connected to balance training. So at that time, I did some balance training, but it was always part of something else. It wasn't really focused on specific balance training. After that initial contact, then everything became a little bit more powerful, more interesting, more intriguing for me. And fast forward a few months, Dr. Splickle decided to have a 3-day intensive master instructor training to create a group of master instructors to basically spread the knowledge and train other people around the country and around the world on barefoot training science, basically. So I was invited by her to attend the training, and I became a master trainer for her. So basically, it's been 11 years that I've been obsessed, I would say, and I've been obsessed, but also, I would say, dedicating my studies and my interest to barefoot science and its applications, and also to balance training as well, with heavy focus on the active aging community, but basically also applying to everybody. But mostly the focus is on the active aging population, which is, it can be, people look at it from 55 and older or 65 and older, but I like to go 55 and older, basically.
So what fascinates you about the feet?
So what fascinates me about the feet is, first of all, how intricate and complicated they are. Because when I first read them, I was like we say, a deer caught in headlights. I was just like, but afterwards, when things started clicking, it all made sense. Your feet are what we consider the foundation of your body. Think of your body as a house. If the foundation of the house is not strong, then the whole house is not strong. So your feet are the first part of your body that gets in contact with the environment, right? Whether you're wearing shoes or not, you have to walk to go anywhere, right? You have to stand up from a chair and be on your feet. So everything starts from the feet. We say everything starts from the ground. So we have this relationship with the ground, whether it is outside in the middle of a beautiful lawn, whether it is at home, whether it is in the gym, whether you are walking in Paris or New York City, doesn't matter. Okay, you always are on your feet. And some people are on your feet all day long, depending on their lifestyle. Some people that work in retail stand on their feet all day. Think about also somebody, policemen that maybe work in traffic all day on their feet. So there is a lot of things that happen when somebody stands for a long period of time that will affect the rest of their body. But basically, and then of course, as we go through the aging process, that also what really fascinated me, what really got my attention, the effect on the aging process to our body, they affect our feet as well. And our feet, especially barefoot, shod basically without shoes, our feet are considered a gateway of information that comes from the environment up. So think about when we're first born, babies, right? Their feet, you just look at their feet, they're able to move their toes so incredibly well. They can almost grab things with their toes. I mean, we come from primates, right? So look at what monkeys are able to do, and we come from them. Now we have obviously become bipedal, right? We're able to stand up on our feet and walk now. So we have lost the ability to do basically this, with our toes. But if you look at primates, feet, they're able to use their thumb in this way, which is something that it's unique to the primates. But humans don't do that anymore.
I don't know how to make this comment. I was listening to you and I realized that I need to make a pause here and remind the listeners also, those of us who have the feet, how lucky we are to have the feet also. And if we are able to move at any age, it's something to be not to be taken for granted, and to treat with great care and gratitude also, because maybe some of our listeners also don't have sensitivity in the feet or are not able to move the legs. And so
absolutely, something that happens as we age. So we lose sensitivity in our feet as we age. It's part of the aging process, but there is something that we can do.
Yes,
so
tell us about that.
Yeah, so absolutely, and thank you, I would love that. So let me start with a fun fact, or a fact. I call it fun fact, but it's interesting. So at the age of 40, we reach the optimum level of sensitivity in our feet. Because again, our feet, we gather a lot of information, especially when you're barefoot. in regards to the environment, the ground, as you place your foot down, it's about pressure, the temperature. It will help you with your balance, with your strength, with your gait, with your walking cycle. So 40 is the very, very top, the very best. And then as we reach the age of 70, so 30 years later, we need twice the amount of stimulation to get the same effect. So somebody who's 40 has a lot of sensitivity to the feet, and then somebody who's 70 will have 50% less. So that can cause problems, issues in terms of balance, in terms of sensitivity, also strength, posture, alignment, and basically will affect your walking cycle. This is due primarily to the aging process, right? However, there also can be other issues that can contribute to that. Somebody who's going through perhaps cancer therapy, right? Cancer, unfortunately, chemotherapy causes neuropathy. Neuropathy is the loss of sensitivity in your nerve endings, mostly on your extremities, so your hands and your feet. Another issue is diabetes. People with diabetes, they have often neuropathy in their feet as well, okay, which can cause a lot of issues. But yes, we can do something about it. It's not a lost battle. So first and foremost, go barefoot. Try being barefoot. Maybe I would say try first around the house. When you go barefoot, you want to be somewhere where you feel safe, right? Then there's no, so don't go barefoot outside, walking in the streets. It's dirty. There could be things that can cut your skin. Absolutely. It's maybe too hot. So start at home, right? Just being barefoot. Second, do what we call a 5-point foot release using a ball. Like some people use a tennis ball. Another ball that is often used is a lacrosse ball, which is a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, and it's harder, okay? The tennis ball is a little soft, but that can be used. And then you can also use balls that are specifically designed to help you with your feet as well. And this is one of the products that Dr. Splickle has created with our company. This technique actually is extremely beneficial. It only takes 5 minutes. So we have 5 minutes in our time, right? Whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, the middle of the day, before the end of the day, but I would definitely recommend doing this in the morning. You need to spend only 30 seconds on each of these specific points in your feet. And I can kind of share with you what those points are. 30 seconds, and then you move to the next point and to the next. So you do 2.5 minutes on the right side, and then 2.5 minutes on the left side, and you're done. And science research tells us that just with 5 minutes of pinpoint pressure foot release, there are noticeable benefits in balance, in strength, in mobility, and sensitivity in your feet.
Okay. Yes, can you please tell us what these points are?
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to show you on my hand, okay? So I'm going to use this pen. So imagine that this is my foot, right? So the first point, right? And what I mean by pinpoint pressure is that we specifically want to stay on one point rather than rolling the foot back and forth. That sometimes can actually do more harm than good. So we don't really recommend rolling, because sometimes people roll too hard, and then the tissue under the feet can get even more inflamed than it could be already. So, but let's go back to this. So point number 1 is the center of the heel. If this is my heel bone, right, I don't want to be right on the heel bone, so I want to be slightly more towards the middle. That would be point number 1, okay? Point number 2 Now, this would be my big toe, right? So point number 2 would be in the middle of my foot, right there, right in the middle of the arches, because you have a lot of ligaments and tendons that cross over that. So as you put the ball in there and you press down, and when you press down, we're talking about 20%. So it's not about pushing down like that. It's just a gentle pressure. And the great thing about this is that the person who's doing that, they control the intensity. If it starts to hurt, then you can pull back. If you want more, you can push more. But so this would be point number 2. Okay, so the center of the foot. Point number 3, one of my favorite. So this is my toes. It's right in here. It's on the ball of the foot. This is called metatarsal heads, right? Now think about this, especially with female shoes. Most of our shoes, they cramp our toes like that, especially high heel shoes, right? So what happens when you take a step, right? Every time you take a step, when you are lifting the heel and moving on to the next step, this space right here needs to separate at least 5 millimeters, okay? If the shoes are so tight, that doesn't happen. So it keeps staying too constricted. So as you put the ball here and push down, you feel a natural release, an opening of that space, which feels really, really great as you do that. Okay, so that's point number 3. Then we go number 4, we go on the outside of the foot right here. Okay, and then point number 5 on the medial arch, because we have under your feet, you have 3 arches. You have the medial arch, which is the one which is most known, this one. We have the lateral arch on the outside, okay? And then we have the one that goes across, transverse or longitudinal arch, transverse arch. So we have medial, lateral, transverse arch, okay? The arch are designed to take the energy and then release it. They are absorbing the shock of placing the foot down and up. Another interesting fact, every time you take a step, your foot takes 1.5 times your body weight. So if I weigh 100 kilos, every time I take a step, I put 150 kilos on each foot, every time. If I start to jog or run, it can go up to 3 or 4 times that.
Oh, wow, okay.
Which is a lot of boom, boom. It's a lot of pounding. So we have to be very aware. That's why, that's one of the reasons why I stopped running, because it was just not good for my feet. This doesn't mean that people cannot run. Everyone is different, okay? We have somebody in the United States that is, she's an idol. Her name is, they nickname her Hurricane Jane. She is, I believe, 103 or 104. She is the world champion in 100 meters sprint. And the amazing thing that she started running at the age of 99.
Oh, wow.
Right? So anybody can do it. Anybody can. So I wanted to share one more thing, just one other thing that you can do, so remember we talked about being barefoot, right? Doing the foot release. And then the third and last is strengthening your feet. How do you strengthen your feet? Specific exercises, that you can do. Also focusing for the bottom of your feet, we have 28 muscles, 26 on the bottom and 2 on the top of the feet that we never exercise. And then doing barefoot balance training strengthens your feet quite a bit.
Okay, that's an interesting point also, because sort of in more traditional approaches to strength training, especially with weights, we say, oh, it's better to wear shoes to protect your feet, maybe some like from the weights falling or something like this?
Yeah, so what, that's absolutely, that's actually one of the, when, you know, sometimes I talk to clients or talk to people, have you thought about going barefoot? Oh my God, I'm scared. What if somebody falls on my foot?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So, you know, it is something, it's a risk, you know, that can happen, but, you know, if somebody wants to start doing things barefoot, I would suggest just do it body weight. Don't add any weight. Just use your body. Use your body.
And I tell my clients also to be very like mindful of where the weights are in the space also, so that they don't like stumble over the weights that are around them, for example. So the ways which we can create awareness to. Roberto, I had a question about the points. Now, you
Yeah.
mentioned using the balls, but can I also use my fingers or like a massage stick to go to
Um,
through the points?
you probably, I mean, you could do, I mean, there's things like reflexology that you can actually, you know, do that, you know. Um, you know, I would say yes, because another benefits of doing the foot release, right, is besides creating space, right, in the joints, what happens, when you compress, right, and then you release, you get a flush of blood, of fresh blood that goes into the side that brings a lot of oxygenated blood. And that's also a benefit for circulation, because that's also another issue that happens as we age. We start to decrease our what we call micro circulation in our feet. Okay.
What's
Yeah, microcirculation is the circulation that's it's specific in the foot area. And
that?
that's often forgotten, right? So it's very important because we need fresh blood to go and oxygenate, you know, to bring some nutrients. Also, you know, it's a way of, regulating temperature, you know, with the body, with the skin. It's healing processes to heal, you know, if there's any injuries there. So doing the foot release will help. Also doing a manual massage, like you were saying, would also help as well. And just movement in general. One interesting fact, this is not so much about the foot, but it's close to the foot. We have a second heart. Who knew, right? The second heart is actually the calf, the calf muscle, right? Which is obviously, you know, I can't show you right now, but, you know, this is my leg, right? It's the one behind, it's a kind of bulky right here
Yes,
in
yes.
the, right? And that's why if anyone has had surgery, I had a hip surgery, and I remember that when I woke up in the bed, the doctor or the nurse, the first thing they tell you is to move your feet down and up like this. Because this movement is created by the muscle, the calf muscle, right? Which basically is plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, which then creates blood circulation. It pumps the blood into the lower extremities.
Oh, that's why
So
it's called the heart.
the second heart, yeah,
Mm. Oh, how interesting.
yes,
Roberto, tell us about a lot of people are concerned with their balance also, and whether balance is something that they can improve.
yeah.
Tell us, like, how can I improve my balance if I'm concerned with this? Is it something that I can improve? And then does it take a lot of
Oh,
work?
absolutely. No, absolutely, 100%. You can improve in your balance at any age, right? At any age. As we said a few minutes ago, as we get older, you know, we start to lose sensitivity in your feet. Now that's sensory, so sensory input, because when you think about life, movement is sensory based. And we talk about sensory coming, you know, the touch, no, right? Eyes, ears, inside your ears. And also we have nerve endings that are inside our body, in our joints, okay? So the way that our body regulates balance is through the sensory system. So there's 4 of them, okay? So there are quite a few type of exercise modalities that focus on balance, like yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates. What else? Strength training. You can do strength training that also focuses on balance, whether you do it barefoot or with shoes. So doing, balance specific exercises. When I work with clients, I always try to teach them that they can incorporate balance exercises anytime during the day. I don't know, like, for instance, you are at the kitchen washing dishes, lift one leg up and see if you can wash your dishes balancing on one leg. Or when you brush your teeth,
Yes.
take one leg up and brush your teeth, balancing on one leg. And you can do that anywhere between 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, even up to 30 seconds. But in general, if when I work with clients, one of the tests that I do is seeing if the person can stay on one leg for at least 10 seconds.
Okay.
So that is, if the person is not able to stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds, that person is at risk of fall. So then right away, I know that I have to work on balance with that person. So balance training, again, yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, dancing is great. Any type of dancing, whether it's even ballet, modern dance, Zumba, jazz, ballroom dancing is great, very social, and a lot of fun. Even walking, when you think about it, when you walk, you actually are doing balance training in some ways. You can be more specific. And finally, I would say being barefoot will also improve your balance quite a bit.
Can you tell us, this is all very useful. Can you tell us more about being barefoot also in terms of different surfaces like floors, for example? If I have a floor that's cold and heavy, what do I do? Or maybe, yes, tell us about surfaces.
Yeah, of course. So I can tell you I can start from the worst one, the worst surface, right? That's cement. So I used to live in New York. New York is a jungle. It's a cement jungle, right? A lot of other cities in the world are like that, but New York is just so impressive and so overwhelming. So a lot of people suffer from issues with their feet, like one of them plantar fasciitis, because basically every time you take a step, the surface reacts to your stepping. And the way, basically, the way that our body reads impact forces is through vibration. So different surfaces vibrates differently. Cement does not vibrate at all. Whereas the best surfaces is hardwood floor. Any wood floor type of surfaces. We have a lot of older buildings in New York where they have a lot of dance studios. And when you are in the studios, you can actually, if you step on them barefoot and you start to maybe jump a little bit, you can feel that the surface moves with you like that. So the surface gives back vibration, and that's how our body, our nervous system reads basically impact forces, because then the vibrations are absorbed by the foot, right? They're absorbed by the tissue, by the muscles, by the bones, right? We know that a vibration, any type of vibration, will improve bone density, right? So doing any type of weight-bearing exercises, whether you do barefoot or not, but in this case barefoot, will actually improve your bone density.
Yes.
So hardwood floor is probably the best.
Yes. I remember when I had Achilles tendonitis for a year and a half. I was living in New York, and so it was really hard to find shoes to comfortable shoes. And I remember I bought these shoes that have a very like a foamy texture, and I had a very like, it wasn't comfortable because I felt like this, like I was bouncing but my foot couldn't read the the texture of the surface that I was on, and it was
So
really
this is
disorienting,
interesting.
actually.
You bring up a really good point because a lot of the shoes that are out there in the market, they basically take away the vibration.
Yeah.
A lot of things with the shoes, especially athletic shoes, right? Sneakers, they have a lot of foam. So
Yeah.
that feels really, oh my God, you put them on, you're like, it feels so comfortable. It feels so soft, like I'm walking on a cloud. Yes, at that level, it is more comfortable, right? But at the same time, your body is not going to be able to read every time you take a step, the way that your body, your nervous system reads the information and then basically sends it to your brain. The brain sends it back to your body, and it tells exactly your feet, your legs, exactly what to do. But because you have the foam, the foam will absorb all this vibration, so your body that has no vibration, basically, like that,
Yes.
So that's why right now they have what they call minimal shoes. They have sneakers that are much more flexible. When you take I'm going to show you, I'm going to take one of my shoes right here. Okay, just to show you. So this is what we call minimal shoes. Okay, if you can see that there is very little foam right here, right? And then look what I do with my shoes, right? I can actually make it into a ball like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shoes that are flexible. Now, do I wear the shoes every day? No. I only wear the shoes when I am either exercising, right? Or I know that I want to get more input from my feet. But if I were to go shopping or I'm going to go out, take my dogs for a walk, day-to-day things, I'm not going to use this because it's just, again, because I do like to have comfortable feet inside some of the shoes, that are a little bit more sensitive. The other thing also, which is great about these shoes, is that this area, which is called the toe box, is wider than traditional shoes. A lot of the other shoes are very narrow here.
Yes.
So imagine my foot in here, right? This one is a little bit wider, so my feet can be wide, whereas other shoes are much, narrower, so it kind of squashes my toes together.
I have a very hard time finding shoes that are comfortable, just like street shoes and boots, and it's incredible how difficult it is, actually.
Yeah.
What else did I want to ask you? Floors. Oh, so you said, so you started with, is there anything else you want to say about the surface? You said that.
So basically, yeah. So make sure that when you exercise, because again, I think it's important for us to know what can we do, right? This is all great what we talked about, but what is a takeaway from this, right? What can we take away from this? So is there an exercise or a practice movement that we can recommend, so to increase your strength, your mobility, but also the awareness of your feet, because a lot of this is about reconnecting with our feet. Because a lot of people, I'm going to say 8 out of 10 people are disconnected from their feet. Completely disconnected. So start being barefoot, number one, on a hard surface. Okay. And start in small quantity. Don't go, oh my, okay, 4 hours barefoot. No, way too much. Start maybe 20 minutes and then go up to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, things like that. Okay. And start connecting with your feet. So maybe start, standing position, and maybe close your eyes and really sense your feet. Try to move your toes. One exercise that I always did with my client, and I did with some of the classes on barefoot training, is called playing the piano, which sounds really fun. And like, how can you play the piano with your feet? But basically, imagine these are my feet. What you do, right? You can do this in a standing position or sitting down in a chair. And you want to be barefoot, of course. You start lifting all the 10 toes, Then you're gonna spread all the 10 toes wide and then put them down on the floor. And feel the tip of each toe connecting on the floor. Okay, so you're going to do that like 5 or 6 times. So once again, lift all the 10 toes, spread them out nice and wide, put them down, and then release. Now, after you do that a few times, then you do the exercise called play the piano, which can be quite overwhelming at first. And this is what it looks like. You basically lift all your 10 toes, and then you place the toes one at a time on the ground. So you lift them all up at once, and then you start from the little one, the pinky, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like you were playing the piano,
Yes.
right? So again, lift all the 10 toes together, and then start from the outside going in. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you're going to notice that it's not easy to just tell one toe to stay up and then go down. Okay. And that just takes practice. It takes a lot of practice, but it really works. It really works.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, one suggestion that I have for everyone, to really reconnect with your feet, be barefoot, and start connecting to your toes again.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, Roberto, what would you tell to somebody who comes to you and says, I have problems with my arches, or I really can't walk without, let's see, insoles or some specific, is there something, can I still come to your classes, or what would you tell?
Yeah. So if somebody has to wear orthotics, because there are situations where, there are structural issues with the feet or the ankle, because sometimes, we need to talk about the foot and ankle complex, right? We cannot really separate them together. We can, right? We can look at them separate, but when we look at the biomechanical aspect, at the, we want to look at them together as a complex. Then there are certain people that have certain pathologies that require the use of orthotics, okay? What happens with orthotics, I think of orthotics as crutches. Let's say when you break your foot, you have to wear crutches, right? Okay, and then you get used to the crutches, so your feet get used to that, and they again, we have muscles in our feet that actually are able to lift the arch, okay? Because the arch that you have in our feet is actually created by muscle and muscle tone. So there are certain exercises, one specific one that I can share with everybody, that is designed specifically to strengthen the arch of the foot. Now, is that going to take place of an orthotic? Because maybe perhaps somebody has, falling arches, or they have really, really bad flat feet. There could be other things, maybe bunions. Bunion is, the big toe that goes in like that. There are things that unfortunately are only surgery could actually probably help with that, but obviously that's the last resort. But there are some exercises. So this exercise that I would like to share with you guys is called short foot, and it was created by Dr. Janda from Czechoslovakia many years ago, and it is one of the foundation exercises that I learned from Dr. Emily Splickle. So basically what you do, like you're up in a standing position, right? Barefoot, of course. And what you can do is you start connecting to your toes. And then what you do for about 3 to 5 seconds, you start to press down with the tip of your toes into the floor for 3 to 5 seconds, because the moment that you push down, then you activate a muscle. So this is my foot, right? And I push down, basically. I start to lift the arch right here. So if my foot are flat, I push down, then I start to see that. If this is, this is my circle, right? Then if I push down, it starts to go like that. I create what we call a dome. It's like a little dome, because your arches are kind of like that. And then as you walk, your arch goes like this. right? It absorbs the shock. Some people are flat.
Yes.
So it causes a lot of issues, right? So orthotics will just lift it up like that, but that's it. It doesn't absorb anything. So when you do the exercise, the short foot exercise, you start to go a little up and then down, up and down. So you are training the muscle, actually. And for a lot of people, is actually reconnecting all those small nerve endings that basically have falling asleep. They just fall asleep because we just never use them. That's also why going barefoot, because every time you're walking barefoot, right, you are using all the muscle that are designed to work your feet, to sustain your feet.
So inspiring. Roberto, maybe this last question, see if how this speaks to you. Let's take a big leap from the feet to foundations more generally, or alignment, something big like this. Has your work on the feet taught you something about foundations in an abstract or metaphorical way also that you want to share with us?
Yes, in the sense that we are we are connected. Our body is connected from the ground up. Whether you look from the ground up or from top, you go from the head down, everything is connected. So there has to be some level of alignment, right? Everything is connected. Like I said, at the beginning of our conversation today, if something is wrong with my feet, it will affect most likely something above my feet. And the next thing is your knees. Sometimes it goes above the knees, so it can go into your hip, can go into your back. And for some people, it can actually affect the neck and the spine. So this foundation of the feet, it really affects the whole body. And it is something that I teach to all my clients, whether they are one-on-one or in a group, like a group session, focusing on finding everyone's foundation, but also finding your own alignment, because everyone is different. Everybody has a different body. So what's good for me might not be good for you or for somebody else. So my job as a movement specialist and a barefoot training specialist is to find what works for that specific person, and at the same time, in a general setting, is give general recommendation and suggestion on exercises that will benefit everybody at that point, especially talking about the feet, because those are, I would say, 80%, 90% of the time are forgotten. I mean, in 35 years of my career, going to the gym every day and being in the industry, I never really heard anyone say, you know something, today I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work on my feet.
Yes.
If somebody said that to me, I would say, why? Why would you do that? Now it makes sense. Now it does make sense, and that's the very first thing I do when I start with someone, with a new client. The first thing I say, okay, take your shoes off and let me see. Let me take a look at your feet and your ankle, because everything starts again from the ground up. And that element of foundation is basically connected to your well-being, your daily life, that basically carries through, your work life, your personal life, your hobbies, your sports, your anything that you do, in your overall health. Because they've done a lot of studies where, if things are not right with your feet, your overall health will be affected, and not in a positive way.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. Now, where can people find you? I'll put the information below also, but you can tell us something.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page has a little bit of everything. Okay. So a little bit, I'm a big dog lover, so I have a lot of things about dogs, but a lot of things about fitness as well. So it's my name, Roberto because E is my middle initial, Melani on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, Roberto E. Melani. And there I actually post quite a few things on how to take care of your feet. I work very, very closely with Dr. Splickle, that is basically my mentor and the person that I learned pretty much everything about the feet. Yeah, so that's basically where you can find me. And then, of course, on your channel.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Roberto. And I really encourage all the listeners to pay close attention to what Roberto shared with us, because I know many of you have like different issues also with your feet, and so don't hesitate to get in touch with Roberto with your particular questions also for private coaching and like a set of exercises that you can follow as part of your daily routine of self-care. And notice also how what Roberto was saying about the importance of training the feet and paying attention to the feet is really like a different way of thinking about what fitness means. And it's very like non-traditional. Because usually we think about fitness as, okay, I need to work on the muscles and the this and the this and the this and the visual effects of this and of the work, but to really take time to take care of these like unforgotten areas of the body is really, really crucial. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so we can become more
Part
sensitive and
of our body. Yeah, our feet, we say actually in our world here is there is a connection between your feet and your core. So the core is your center, right? Core is abdominals, the side, the lower back, the glutes, and there is actually a very deep connective tissue connection between your feet and your core. So, and also, of course, when we talk about the nervous system, which is also often something forgotten in this world, because fitness is, like you said, is I want to bulk up, I want to get my cardio going, I need to lose weight, I need to run a marathon, blah, blah, blah. But we forget about the nervous system, right? How does that impact our daily life and then our training as well? And how that starts from the ground up, which means from our feet.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Roberto, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, get in touch with us about questions and concerns about private coaching and other kinds of offerings that we have. So until next time, dear listener, my name is Hias Alma, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.